have a bit of a charge. All the batteries, when you receive the starter kits that you start off with on these vapor cigarettes, most of the batteries have a bit of a charge that'll last you for 15, 20 puffs. But then it's good to charge them up fully. But
okay, so I should really try it online. I should try it on air here, yeah?
I think you should. I think you should open the package and
I'm opening up the package.
Opening up the package. Great. It's amazing, this is really like a revolution all by itself it's going on worldwide. And a lot of people out there really have never heard of vapor cigarettes or electronic cigarettes or I'll be walking down the
Hey, I've got a long one and a short one. Which do I use? The short one or the long one?
Whichever you like.
They're both as
one
thick
in
as
each hole or what?
Oh, I think a lady'd go for the long one, so go for the long one.
Go for the long one and the short one at the same time, honey. I'll take the short one, okay? Give me the short one. Oh, you know how I like that short one.
No, we've only got one buck. There's only one buck, so we can't do both together.
I'll do mine without a filter then. I'll just eat it. I'm just going to stick it in my mouth and just chew on it, man. You go for it. Jimmy's back. Oh, yeah, he's going to get on the edge somewhere. I had a past life reading, and Jimmy and I were actually brothers in a past life in Ireland in the 1700s and 1600s sometime, and we were in a traveling band back then.
Where's that noise coming from? I hear.
Oh, it lights up, man. When I puff on this green smoke,
hey, this is cool, MiZer. This is cool.
You actually opened it up and put it together?
It's like smoking a cigarette.
That's what I told you, Laura.
There's even I'm even blowing out like
vapor.
Yeah. Oh no, this could actually make me give up cigarettes. Bullshit. This is
That's
cool.
what it's supposed to do.
That is too real.
See, I think
without the filter, man.
Chris is smoking his without even having a filter. At least mine looks like a cigarette.
Oh yeah, it even lights
like a joint, man, and it's a everlasting joint. It just never gets smaller. It's like a magic forest plot, man. You just scrape a bit out of the top, and then you shake it, and it's back there again, and it's full again, man.
Will it save on my house insurance, MiZer, because I'm now not classified as a smoker if I smoke an e-cigarette?
That's correct.
When there's like house on top of that glowing light.
So literally, I can go to work and be in any situation at a restaurant or all the places that they ban smoking. I can sit there and I can smoke my e-cigarette.
You should be able to. Although I'm sure there are some places that'll say, "Whoa, wait a minute." See, the only problem is
on a piece of plastic with some metal attachments to it and a little LED in the end. Yeah, I can see aliens
just like a cherry.
Oh, we better pop it then.
Lights up just like a cherry on a cigarette.
I'm just afraid I'm going to try and light the thing when I'm really wasted and it's like going to be plasticky.
Keep the lighter in your pocket.
I can actually honestly say that it's a total wonderful experience making this e-cigarette. I have the e-cigarette in one hand and a normal cigarette in the other, and I'm now puffing in between to see which one satisfies my addiction. And I can honestly say the e-cigarette has a definite calming effect as what a normal cigarette does, so yeah, I'll give it a go. I'm gonna purchase my recharge cartridges or whatever they are.
Well, the only thing with an electronic cigarette is, everybody asks, why are electronic cigarettes so expensive? Well, they're actually not. The only thing that's really expensive, if you want to call it that, is when you start with vapor cigarettes or e-cigarettes, you have to get what they call a starter kit, because you need the necessities to, it usually comes with a USB charger, and you attach that to what they call a AC wall outlet adapter, and you put those two together. You screw the rechargeable battery into the USB charger, and then you plug it into the wall, and that recharges the battery. And it usually takes about an average of 3 hours on most batteries like Green Smoke. And that's all there is to it. So after you've spent that $100 and gotten all the stuff you need to recharge it, the only thing you have to purchase after that are refill cartridges. And they run
How long can I smoke one of these things, MiZer?
Green Smoke is actually one of the better ones, and you can probably one cartridge is probably equal to one package, if not a pack and a half of regular cigarettes.
Oh, hallelujah!
But now, what you have to do, and it's hard to do. Anybody out there that's looking into vapor cigarettes, the first thing I would suggest is get the highest nicotine volume. Most of them out there have 18. I think Green Smoke is one of the ones that have 24 milligrams of nicotine in a cartridge. But you have to remember that the cigarettes you're used to smoking, lighting up, putting out the butt, each one of those have 138 milligrams of nicotine in them. So 24 versus 138, that's quite a cut down. And you have to remember that the cigarette companies put chemicals in regular analog cigarettes to help your body absorb more of the nicotine. So that's a double whammy on you. Where vapor cigarettes, the only ingredients that vapor cigarettes have are, one is water, two is usually a flavor, a lot of them have some type of flavor to them, three is nicotine, and the last one is what they call propylene glycol. Now, propylene glycol is a chemical. People freak out and say, oh, crap, chemicals. Well, there's actually a chemical name for water, too. I could use that instead of water. I mean, you can call anything a chemical if you want, but propylene glycol is kind of a liquid that has a syrupy consistency to it. I mean, you can go into the food pantry and you can look on a box of cake mix.
It's sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what they add to some cheap wines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
It's an antifreeze thing. Basically, it
has nothing to do with antifreeze, and that's one of the first bad rumors that the alphabet agencies, as I call them, the FDA and so on, put a rumor out there. This started all about a year ago in October in 2010. The FDA claimed that they did a test on vapor cigarettes, and they found that the vapor and the moisture that creates the vapor in these vapor cigarettes, electronic cigarettes, contained antifreeze. So they got the word out there, and everybody freaked out. is, oh my God, if the FDA says it's so, it must be gospel, right? Just like the preacher said at the church. I don't want to touch those things. Those things got antifreeze in them. Well, there's another doctor out there, a Dr. Michael Siegel, who's actually a professor of habitual behavior, and Dr. Michael Siegel was a front runner in getting regular smoking, lighting it up, putting it out in the ashtray, banned in public places. He's been in this profession for about 25 years, I think, professor and doctor at the same time. So this man's been out trying to get states everywhere in the country, and it probably passed over to other countries, to ban smoking in public places. It's this same guy, when nobody else would do it, decided to do clinical tests and research on vapor cigarettes. And it's this same man who's done gastromology tests, where they actually test the vapor that comes out from the vapor cigarette, and he cannot find anything dangerous or harmful to the health in any electronic cigarette. Now, what the FDA did was, and Dr. Michael Siegel speaks about this in an interview that I have on my website. If you want to see my website, all you have to do is go to Google and type in Vapor Revolution, and I'll be number one on the first page, I think. But if you look up, I forget the name off the top of my head, but I have this interview that was held on Blog Talk Radio with Dr. Michael Siegel. And if you have any questions about vapor cigarettes or any worries, I'm sure the doctor will address them in this hour interview. And
that's sweet, man. I got to say, my good friend Umi Shakti put me onto these things some time back. She was selling them in the US.
Mm-hmm.
And Neil was accused of being a smoker because she occasionally had vaped, and it's like, it's for someone like her that's she juices, she is probably one of the most purest food people out there that I know, and for her to be accused of being a cigarette smoker just because she vaped once in a while, it's like, it's an X against your name, man.
Well, I've got to say, I'm really enjoying my vape cigarette. I'm sitting back here, and I feel like I'm really smoking.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same sort of thing, but it's like, am I really? That's only part of the effect that is smoking, is having something in your hand, puffing on something, sucking on something.
Well, and see, I believe that's 75% of the habit, and people don't realize that. When people hear about somebody that smokes cigarettes, they say, "Oh, you're addicted. You're addicted to the nicotine." Yeah,
well, you are.
Well, you are.
I've listened to Laura Knight Judzik. She's supposedly a contactee with the Cassiopeans. And she openly, I remember on the Project Camelot videos that she was smoking the whole way through, and she was smoking some crazy French black cigarettes that were supposedly no government input. And she said, well, it triggers something in you that's one of those endorphin-like chemicals in your body that happen. And she says, well, the reason that she does it is because the reptilian beings detest it. They hate the taste of it, and that's why she smokes. And the same as eating red meat. It's like they don't like people that eat red meat, which is kind of strange. It's like those two things pump some chemicals into your body, which they makes you a untasty morsel, if you like, and they stay away. said. So yeah, that's my
well,
my
and the other thing, it's kind of people out there that are against it. It's really kind of how would you say? It's a psychological matter. I mean, just to get back to what because it looks like a cigarette, it feels like a cigarette. When you take a hit off of it and exhale, it looks like you're smoking a cigarette. The LED light lights up at the end, looks like a cherry on a cigarette. So people see that, and right away it strikes that nerve.
It's thicker than a cigarette. It is definitely thicker than a cigarette.
Oh, I think so. I'm going to find that link and I'm going to put it up in the chat room here so you can save it and go listen to this interview lately. But I recommend you listen to what the doctor has to say. It's really, I can't put it in the chat room for listeners. I'm not there right now, but if you want to copy and paste it into the room, you can put it over there for the listeners. Definitely listen to this interview with Dr. Michael Siegel. It's very interesting. And even he says in the interview that the one test, not 10, one test that the FDA actually did on vapor cigarettes, they found nitrosamines, which actually is a carcinogen, in the vapor cigarettes. They said that was bad. Okay, now what we have to step back and remember is this carcinogen comes from tobacco, because nicotine is derived from tobacco. So anything that has nicotine, which is derived from tobacco in it, is going to have these same nitrosamines, a la carcinogens, in them. So that tells you that nicotine gum, nicotine patches, nicotine inhalers have these same carcinogens. But I haven't heard the FDA screaming, "Oh, stay away from nicotine gum and patches, they have carcinogens in." Well, heck no. They're making money off that. They're on the shelves everywhere in the country and across the world. But they do. They have the same carcinogens that they pointed the finger out saying, vapor cigarettes have carcinogens in them. The one they really freak people out about, which I was getting to, was, that vapor cigarettes have antifreeze in them. Well, that's a big lie. Actually, as I was saying, the one test that they did on these vapor cigarettes was from one cartridge, not a pack of cartridges, not a box of cartridges, not a whole shipment of cartridges. One, they found diethylene glycol in it. And diethylene glycol is an ingredient in antifreeze. Water is an ingredient in antifreeze also. Should I stop drinking water? And the reason
fluoride water, maybe.
And that's going all over here in the States. They're putting fluoride in everything. Basically, from the research that I've done, because it clogs up and blocks the flow to the pineal gland.
Well, do you know what? I experienced fluoridated water for the first time in Australia here the other day, quite possibly, and within 5 to 10 minutes, all I wanted to do was watch television, which I haven't done for 4 years or so. What does that tell you?
That's part of the plan. That's part of the idea, to distract the public, to detour their focus on what they should be focusing on. No, let's turn on the old piece of technology that lies to us on a daily basis and runs our lives. Tell us who to be prejudiced against.
The living bejesus out of me to want to be saying like, can we turn on that thing in the corner that's, that screen thing?
Yeah, but you didn't have
so anyway,
did you?
No, and admittedly, the effect only lasted like 5 minutes before I realized what my error was and what was happening. But honestly, after you start to wake up and that type of thing, you can't go back. It's impossible to go back to the old ways.
Well, that's just it. It's impossible to go back to the old ways.
Hey, you know what? This is cool. I am actually picking up this e-cigarette every time I feel like a puff, and I do a couple of puffs, and then I put it down on the table back again, and, you know, it doesn't burn out. It doesn't... There's no scratch. It's actually bloody cool. You know,
it doesn't burn the furniture.
No, and you know what? I pick it up when I have that desire to have a cigarette, and I'll go puff, puff, and then it's all done, you know. And I think maybe we smoke a cigarette out of more habit than need, and or a physical need, you know. I think a lot of that is habit, and I'm sorry to take it back there, but I mean, I love this e-cigarette.
Well, that's the truth. And a lot of people, if you suggest, have you tried vapor cigarettes, electronic cigarettes, they say, oh, no, those got antifreeze. Well, I just killed that lie.
Yeah,
because that's all it is. It's a big lie.
But, gosh.
And
I love it. And let's put up our e-cigs and shares and thank you, MiZer.
Well, and they'll say,
MiZer.
But they'll say, Chris, you know what they say? I love smoking. I enjoy it.
Oh, I do, and I have to admit that in between e-cigarettes, I've lit up one of my own Port Royal, roll your own beast, just to say it. But I was originally told,
habit.
Yeah, indeed it is. I wasn't seeing any vapor coming out, man. That's the thing. That was like, the smoke.
Well,
it's like tea leaves, man. I can see stuff in those. But I was originally told that if you're planning to give up nicotine, this is Atlantean technology I'm imparting upon you here. That the thing that I've used quite a lot actually over my lifetime, in the last 10, 12 years, is gem elixirs, where you place a crystal in some pure water and leave it overnight to impart the energies upon it. And that the thing that if you're going to be giving up nicotine, which is, by the way, the most addictive substance known to man, is red calcite. Red calcite. Smoking marijuana for 2-3 years, and you know, it was you had to give up for yourself and have no one to blame or no one to come back to say, you made me give that up. And it's really just yourself. Yeah, absolutely. I
agree with you on that, Chris, and I think marijuana is probably one of the easiest drugs to give up because I don't really think it's addicting, you know, like heroin or cocaine.
Truly, it is. Yeah, you're right. However, the psychological addiction is the biggest part. And
agree. I agree. I've participated many times and never been addicted, but it really did piss me off the other day when my 80-year-old mother, for gosh, you know, she's at the back of me laughing right now because she actually cleaned up for, you know, she doesn't do that often, and we had a bowl of green on the goddamn coffee table, and Mum somehow put it in the dishwasher and say sayonara.
Wow.
You know what? It was difficult to get here because there's been a lot of I shouldn't probably even say this. There's been a lot of busts on the Sydney coast.
Well, and I think Chris hit on a key point also, what he was talking about a minute ago, is that I smoke probably for 20 years, and there were probably a couple of stints in there where I actually, quit for a year. Then something came up, who knows what it was, maybe a break at work where I was really pissed off at a customer or something, and I needed something to relax. And I went next door and I bought a pack of cigarettes, and there you are again, back in the same old thing. But
it's an addiction thing, because I noticed that when I gave up smoking, guess what replaced it? Drinking. And that's something that you can truly get addicted to, and it's an evil master. But it depends. There again, Ronny and I was discussing on the blood type issue with whether you have the receptors to take the alcohol in and get rid of it again. Because some of the Asian population and the Pacific Island population have the receptor to only take it in and not get rid of it again, and so they go quite schizo sometimes. Like they become totally different people, and they don't have that key thing that some of us have. That I'm presuming actually goes back to, dare I say it, Anunnaki, ancient Sumerian times, where that was one of the prime drugs that they used was alcohol. That was the very first thing that they ever, when after the Great Flood, when they went back and found the ancient spaceport and uncovered all of the ancient things that were still there, like after the flood, and that was one of the first genes or seeds that they revived was the grape seed, and to make their wine with. Yeah, I can read you a piece on that if you like, but that's the basic story. That was the first thing that they wanted to get back up and running after the Great Flood was some primo Bordeaux.
Well, I think that's one of the main factors, too, that I was looking for. I didn't really feel that, buying a package of nicotine gum, which I think was, $45, I thought, geez, I almost pay that for a carton of cigarettes. But, I truly believe that 75% of the habit is psychological. It's having something in your hand, whether you're bored, there's something, it's the physical part, something to bring up to your mouth, something to take a hit off, feel that throat hit, which vapor cigarettes will give you, when you inhale, you can feel that throat hit as you inhale. It's, that's the real thing. But it's all psychological, whether it's when you get up in the morning with your morning coffee, or the most popular one is after a meal. After you have a meal, you got to light up a cigarette. For some out there that are still young enough, after having sex, you got to light up a cigarette. It's all these.
Oh, Micah, you're giving your age away there.
It's all these.
Somehow, I don't think you have given up on sex, my love.
But it's those things that we put on a schedule, and we say, okay, time to do it. Light it up. And that is the hardest part. And as Chris was talking about, that's why you'll find a lot of people that try to quit smoking analog cigarettes, light them up, put them out, cold turkey, end up gaining weight. Was it because they stopped smoking? No, it was because of the other 75%, the habit. Instead of sitting there watching TV and have a cigarette in their mouth, now they got some kind of food in their mouth, and they're always eating. Every 15 minutes or half hour that they lit up a cigarette, now they've got something in their hand munching on it. And you're going to gain weight. It's
like a breathing pattern thing. It's like the inhale of the breath, hold, and exhale of the breath again, and it's that simple. It's a heart thing. It's
Can I jump in for a sec? Yeah. For me, it's the chest hit, and so I wouldn't doubt that would probably satisfy that part. But propylene glycol is the less toxic antifreeze. It's what you find in when you buy a jug of RV or plumbing antifreeze. If you get a little bit in your water, it's probably not going to hurt you. Now, propylene glycol is also used in underarm deodorant, so you do rub it on your skin every day. I wouldn't doubt that using a whole cartridge of that would do no more harm than using, underarm deodorant. But I don't see why they need to put it in our salad dressings. You buy any cream salad dressings, I don't know why there's propylene glycol in that. Normally you don't freeze it, so it's not in a freeze. Unless it's frost-free salad dressing. I don't know about that.
Is it just a sweetener?
No, it is a type of sugar. It's also known as a duol or a 2-hydroxyl group, which is. I just posted an article from Natural News. There's a lot of controversy over the subject. It is pretty much toxic, but a lot of plants have toxins in them too, latex and that you can still eat. So, they're still studying it, and studies have been contradictory. It says in that article on Natural News.
Well, basically, what propylene glycol does is it thickens up whatever it's used with, and with something like a vapor, it thickens the vapor. Propylene glycol is, if you've ever gone to a playhouse and watched a play, and they have one of those fog machines in the playhouse, and all of a sudden everything gets foggy inside, it's propylene glycol. That's what they use to create the fog. So when people...
Not like dry ice?
No,
because I really react badly to that. That gives me almost like an asthma attack whenever I'm in it.
But yet, when people go and associate words like antifreeze or toxic, with this one ingredient in vapor cigarettes, people freak out. And I think that's very humorous in the point that if you want to use the word toxic, all I need to do is step out my front door.
Not only that, but I'm sure there's tons of propylene glycol burning byproducts in cigarette smoke. You'd rather not have all the, arsenic and everything else, formaldehyde that you're getting from cigarettes. You'd just rather have one thing that is shown to basically most people can tolerate.
That's one thing I have not found in the 2 years of study I've done on electronic cigarettes. Propylene glycol is not one of the ingredients in regular analog cigarettes. Why? Because they don't need it. When the combustion starts, you get the smoke.
Guess what? I just found myself
you want to know something funny?
My electronic cigarette.
He was adding his electronic cigarette like habit totally.
See, there comes a habit again. And the other hard part is, I found out when I started, it really takes a transition period. If you think you're going to quit cold turkey from regular analog cigarettes to vapor cigarettes, it's probably not going to work. You have to work your way down. I found myself, I'd light up a cigarette in the morning, and maybe an hour later when I had a vapor cigarette, and another hour maybe I hit my vapor cigarette, and 2 hours later I'd go light up another real cigarette. You kind of have to work down, because if you ask anybody who's tried to quit regular analog cigarettes, it takes about 72 hours to get all those toxins out of your blood, out of your system, all that crap they've added to the cigarettes. And the other number that's misused many times, saying that cigarettes have 4,000 chemicals in them, that's not exactly correct. The cigarette companies put about, I think the number was 400 to 500 chemicals in the cigarette. That number you hear, 4,000, which I think is up to about 5,000, comes after the combustion, after you light it up, and all the byproducts it produces. That's where that big number comes from. But you'll find yourself, it took me about a week where I was down to lighting up 2 cigarettes a day and using my vapor cigarette the rest of the day. And that evening when I went up to light up my second cigarette, I said, oh crap, I don't want this nasty thing. And I went and I got the other 2 packs of cigarettes in my bedroom. I tore them into pieces, enjoyed every minute of it.
Oh my gosh, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall. Tearing up those packets of cigarettes.
And threw them away.
Going back to work full time for the few weeks that I did, that was like 1 cigarette in 8 hours. So yeah, I managed it, and it was a mind thing, and it was a timing of the day thing. And yeah, I cut down on my cigarette consumption by half at least.
Because those 8 hours, your hands were busy.
Gosh.
Oh well, yeah, and it was one of those things you know at work you can't just go and light up and wherever you want, and so you'd limit it to like 1 cigarette at your lunch break type of thing.
And
you know
so
what,
the other.
When I was a nurse, we had. Sorry for jumping in here. When I was a nurse, we'd have a 20-minute break, and you would try and shovel down as many cigarettes as you can possibly do in that break, because you freaking had to cope with it, going back. But also then when I got into another sector of disabilities where it was more freedom to a degree, and I was noticing that instead of shoveling down, 3, 4 cigarettes in a break, I would go out and have 1 cigarette, and I can just go and do it on my break, but realistically, when you have that choice, that you can do anything when you want, well, then you don't need to probably do it as often, because you don't have to shovel it down your throat. And I'm speaking on a lot of levels here. If any of you can pick up on the analogies.
Well, and again, that's psychological. Why did you feel you had to shove so many down your throat in a small amount of time? Oh, this way I'll put more nicotine in my body and I'll be good for 4 hours.
Yeah, well, that's the mentality of it, and
mentality.
The fallacy, because it only lasts for 15 minutes. I'm afraid any of those drugs only last for 15 minutes.
That's correct, and that's the other thing I've. Go ahead, Ronny. I'm sorry.
The psychological effect of at an airport, at a train station, you're going to be sitting on that bloody plane for 13 hours, and you're going to try and chuff as many cigarettes as you can down, it's fact.
Oh, and then that's the next one that the FDA, well, pardon me, not the FDA, the Department of Transportation is going for now back here in the States, is they want to ban e-cigarettes on all flights, international and domestic.
Oh.
How can they do that?
I was just getting interested in the e-cigarette because I thought I could smoke anywhere, and you're telling me this?
Well, the point for changing to vapor cigarettes is not where you can do it. It's about getting off those nasty analog cigarettes that you light up, improving your health, and saving money. I mean, back in, I think, August, what was that, about a couple of months ago at the beginning, made a year for me that I've gone without lighting up a cigarette because I've been using vapor cigarettes. I also figured that
question, what is it that we're lacking in our everyday lives that makes us want to do this? What is it is it a frequency vibration? Because I've noticed that, in my past devilments with drugs and that type of thing, that when you're on any sort of speedy drug, you want to smoke cigarettes like they're, you know, the only thing that you really want to do, and you would go hard on it. But no, why is it so much accentuated when you're like
chain smoking?
Speed it up.
Chain smoking you're talking about?
It's a habit because you become bored.
Well, any of those crazy drugs like speed or anything, if you do any of those, you just want to smoke and smoke and smoke and smoke. Just like you've seen the Bill Hicks videos and the rip-offs thereof. That's how you feel when you're that frequency vibration elevated during that time. It's crazy.
Well, because when you get on one of those drugs that speed you up, like cocaine or speed, when that gets into your system, you get bored. You got nothing to do. You're bored, and all of a sudden your energy and you want to do something. What's there to do? Oh, damn! Light up a cigarette.
Exactly, but why is it that it carries on to your life when you're not on those drugs equally as well? What is it we're lacking that we need that we don't have?
The only drugs that I actually take are cigarettes, but now that is fixed because I have the new green smoke bloody e-cigarette, don't I? But anyway.
I got both in my mouth at once. I've got a real one and a green cigarette, so.
But putting aside that, Chris, I'm the slackest bloody housekeeper you could ever imagine, but I do stuff like I paint.
Don't give me that. I've seen you clean your holiday property in record speed.
Well, gosh, God damn, was that not fast?
I'm afraid it's like the means to an end, but you got to do it, and crazy Asians make a lot of mess.
You threw me on my bloody yarn, thank you, God damn you. Actually, I shouldn't say that, God damn you, because God to me is G-O-D, good over death.
Well, and when it actually started here in the States over about a year ago when a couple of manufacturers of vapor cigarettes sued the FDA because they blocked a shipment from coming across the ocean to get into the country. And that's when all the trouble started. That's when it all got into mainstream media. And that's when the FDA went and did their little test, which wasn't worth a crap to me, only doing one cartridge, finding something and associating antifreeze with it. But now...
How much is a cartridge, MiZer?
Most of the ones that I've seen and I've probably tried over a dozen companies I've seen, you get cartridges, 5 in a package. Each cartridge lasts to the equivalency of about a pack and a half. And you really can't put a number on that because everybody's different. You may take a big drag, I might take a little drag. So the number for you is going to be different than the number for me. I really don't like using numbers as how much they're equal to. I think
man, go for it. We don't mind about that. Just do it.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, don't sit on the fence, man. Just dive in, man.
Well, I've actually sat there and kept track, with a pencil paper, doing little slash marks here and there when I put a new cartridge on, when it's burned up, used up.
Things do that.
And I usually get 100 to 150 puffs off each cartridge. But now that's because I take 2 puffs before I inhale. Somebody out there may just take 1 puff and then inhale and be satisfied. The thing I think
why did you develop that strange partake? Is that from some other type of drug that you're inhaling, or what?
No, that was from smoking cigarettes. I usually take a couple hits.
Take a puff and then just don't taste like a cigar smoker. You taste it and you enjoy it. puff it out and then like take one into your lungs or what? Because I know people. It's like my grandfather always said, you know, I smoke cigarettes, but I don't inhale it. I just, you know, it's a bit Bill Clinton-ish. I know what you mean, but sure, I smoke marijuana, but I do not inhale it. So you fucking idiot.
Oh Lord, that's
shush your mouth.
Hey, can I throw a question?
Well, it's Bill Clinton. Come on, he's playing his sex or getting his cigar sucked on.
Go ahead, Truth. Throw the question in.
I was listening to Art Bell some years ago, and he this was around the time his wife passed away, and he had moved to the Philippines with his new wife, and he was talking about how he was trying to quit smoking. He was down to like a cigarette a day. I'm doing such a good job. Blah, blah. I suggested to him that he likes his fast blast. That's one thing I loved about him is he has his fast blast. He kept a close eye on it. Anybody could type him a question on the spot, he'd get it. And I suggested to him that Nicorette was like delicious. It was like better than Chiclets, and I actually used a 0.5 milligram because I don't know. I'll tell you that does the trick. Although I had to take Wellbutrin years ago, and for some reason that Wellbutrin still works. Anyway, so about a week later or so, or a month later, whatever, he's on the air saying how the Philippines doesn't have any Nicorette, and I heard that he was doing something and that he would probably have Nicorette shipped there. Now, the question is, do you think maybe I'm entitled to some royalties to that?
Well, I don't know if you get. I'm sure the big boys in black, as I call them, the elite, whatever you want to call them, who probably own the company that produces a product, if they have what they call an affiliate program, which is all that's on my website is referred to as affiliate marketing. I promote somebody's product when somebody buys some of it through a third-party purchase. I get like 10% for a commission, which isn't a whole lot, but, you know, that's not what these vapor cigarettes are about. These vapor cigarettes are about saving somebody's life out there. And I know somebody very close in one of the companies who lost a brother to lung cancer because he smoked for so many years. And I've heard him say so many times, my God, if they would have only had vapor cigarettes out 10, 15, 20 years ago. But, yeah, I mean, if Nicorette, go look on Nicorette's website. I'm sure they have one. If at the very bottom you see something that says affiliate program, yeah, check it out. Sign up for it. Maybe you can get him to come over to Nicorette's website for a link of yours, and you'll get a little commission from it.
That's an important kind of statement there, MiZer, because as much as I hate to say it, now I see too much of it with the law of attraction, giving the abundance, make it rich here and make it rich there, but there's a lot of businesses out there, guys, that you can take part of and earn some extra cash. And gosh, I am really not going to sit here and say I condone any money making situation, but there's opportunities, and one of the laws that I live by in my existence is with a little tad of quantum physics where everything is possible, a little tad of law of attraction where you create your own destiny, and a little self-growth to know and understand yourself and be able to look at yourself in the mirror and start doing some stuff that you need to, and start maintaining that vehicle that you're living in, because if you don't have a vehicle, wife ain't going to be too happy, yeah?
Well, I guess so. I think we live in such a. I'm gonna put this link in here one more time for you, and I hope we can talk about this again. Maybe you can listen to this interview between now and the next time with Dr. Michael Siegel and hear what the good doctor, professional doctor, professor has to say about the test he did personally on vapor cigarettes. But
I'm going to click on this link and I'm going to watch it, and I hope everyone else, for the majority, there's something that we kind of have to take control of, and maybe this is one of the first steps. Yeah.
Well, and let me just close by saying this. All the alphabet agencies, I think they've granted serenity. They've surrendered to it. The FDA got slammed down back in October of last year when Enjoy and the other company took them to court, and a federal court judge says no. This is just the FDA trying to control the use of tobacco products again. FDA lost. Well, FDA didn't give up yet. Then they took them to a federal court of appeals over here in the States, and they lost again. And I think they finally got it through their head. Why keep spending all this money when we're just going to lose? So the FDA kind of quieted up, shut up, and went out of the picture. Oh, then one of the other alphabet agencies came in, the Better Business Bureau, as they're known in the States, and they tried saying, oh, these vapor cigarettes are bad. They have flavors like candy. Children will be attracted to them, which is the biggest bunch of bogus BS I've heard in my life. For the over a year that I've been using vapor cigarettes, when I've been out the front door, out at the shopping center, wherever, out in public, I have never seen anybody, probably 25 years or younger, using a vapor cigarette. Because you got to remember, this new generation has been brought up in an entirely different atmosphere than I was. When I was young, everybody was smoking cigarettes on television, in the movies.
Exactly. I can remember Ugly Dave Gray on some celebrity game show on television, and he was always smoking a cigar. You were not cool if you did not smoke.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And in the movies, especially, the ladies used what they called cigarette holders, which were probably about 7 inches long, and the cigarette fit in the end of it. That just looks so
suave looking.
Wow. Yes, it just looks so elegant and looks so feminine and just. Okay, today's generation didn't go through that. They didn't see the Marlboro cowboy rounding up the herd on a television commercial.
Marlboro Country, you.
Oh, yeah, they've been brought up in a generation where they see nothing but infomercials on television telling them secondhand smoke is dangerous. It could kill you. So, even something that looks like smoking, they want nothing to do with.
That's how quitting, Cole. Do you know the real reason I started smoking cigarettes was to try and cover up the smoke of marijuana?
Me too.
The real reason why I started smoking cigarettes is because I was like a little kind of jumpy child, and I heard that it was good to suppress the diet.
Yeah. That's
probably
crazy.
So.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Ronnie, Chris. I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it. And like
great
I said,
talking to you all. Yeah, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MiZer, and thanks everyone that has been supportive here, and wow, you know, I think we've learned a lot.
Go Inform Radio. Thank you very much. You know, that was a great first topic. Thoroughly enjoyed it. We participated.